that almost always generates a couple projects just from the simple ping internally. Whenever we start seeing sales and projections go down a little bit, the first thing we do and the lowest hanging fruit that we do. Are you wrapping cars more than 12 hours a day, every day, working nonstop but can barely get by? Burnout, missing deadlines, and wondering just how much longer you can keep this up?
That was us too. We started our wrap shop buried under $250,000 in debt, and it felt absolutely impossible. But we dug out, built a profitable shop, and are still in the trenches of owning and operating a wrap shop. We're here to share what we learned along the way so that you don't make the same mistakes that we did.
And we're here to help you with the business side of the wraps, like pricing, building a team, streamlining your systems, ultimately so that you can run your shop and your shop stops running you.
Welcome to the WrapOps Podcast, brought to you by Wrap Fam Unleashed.
What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning back into WrapOps or tuning in for your first time. Hopefully you enjoy. Just by the simple fact that you are here and listening, I can tell so much about you. You actually want to grow your wrap shop. You care. You give an F. You want to succeed. You want to prosper. And that shows by the simple fact that you're tuning in. I cannot stress enough how miles ahead you already are of your competition just for simply seeking some information to try to get better. So we'll come with kind of some short clips, short podcasts, as you will. We are just getting started, less than 10 episodes this far. But nonetheless, the thing that I want to talk to you guys about is conquering the scariest thing to us. So it is not, Jason coming to hit you with a machete or something, or Freddy Krueger coming to slice you up. It is the next scariest thing around the Halloween time, and that is slow season. So the phones stop ringing, just the leads in general slow down, and close ratio becomes much more difficult. Hopefully you walk away today with some tips, some tricks, a mindset shift, as you will, and something to kind of help you, motivate you. And at the end of the day, slow season is predictable. It comes around this time of year every year. Always does. It doesn't usually take any years off. And I'll share with you guys some of the things that we have done to get around it. So most common, I would say, pitfall of selling vehicle wraps and going into slow season is that you don't prepare early enough. So hopefully you've caught on to this video a little bit before your slow season actually is started. And if it has already started, that's totally fine. You just got to amp it up a little bit more compared to what we're going to talk about today. But at the end of the day, let's pull the emotion out of it and let's just go straight logical. So if your slower season is coming up, so the phone is not ringing as much and it is more difficult to fill the schedule, that essentially comes down to two things. So lead generation, which is getting the phone to ring, and your close ratio, which is, getting a quote sent to them and how much of that do you actually close. The biggest one that I want to focus on for this episode is that top of the funnel, lead generation. So we're going to need to turn it up a notch. Whatever you're doing currently to generate some leads, you're going to need to 10x that. So for example, right now, just within the last 7 days here, we are very much in that phase where we're doubling down. Showed up to 7 networking events this week already, sent over 70 emails as just introducing myself to people that I've met out networking that I have not met before. So again, that's 7 specific direct meetings to meet people in the community within our target market. We'll talk on that a little bit here in a second. And send out 70 emails. So you can't just show up. You got to actually try to cultivate and build those relationships, introduce yourself, get in front of some people. And that is just one way to generate those leads. So lead generation, it's kind of a blanket term, but it's essentially whatever you're trying to do to make that phone ring. So I'm going to assume the basics are covered. I'm going to assume you're posting online, social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever platforms that you've decided that work best for you, they're active and you are actively posting. that is kind of some low hanging fruit, obviously, but that's, got to do the basics. And then I personally like networking quite a bit. I enjoy talking to business owners. Business owners are part of our target market. Anyway, before we get into that, I want to go over kind of the mindset, as you will. So up until this point and, kind of throughout most of the year, you're probably just playing defense. I know that's mostly what we're playing. And what I mean by that is you are just accepting the inbound. So you're waiting on the phone to ring, you're waiting on people to reach out to you, and then you're just fielding those calls, sending the quotes, talking them through it, whatever. But the big mindset shift that you need to have going into slow season, or hopefully preparing for slow season, hopefully you're doing this proactively, is going on offense. And what I mean by that is you need to have a more aggressive approach. So defense looks like you're just receiving calls all day long or emails or whatever. Offense is the opposite. So you're still going to be receiving those calls and fielding that inbound, but you're also outbound focused. So whatever that looks like to you, whether you're sending direct mailers, you're cold emailing, you're cold calling, walking in new doors that you haven't walked into, the lobbies of different businesses, just introducing yourself, whatever. But at the end of the day, we got to switch from that defensive mentality to offense. Like we have to get aggressive going into slow season to survive. Before we kind of go into some of the tactical stuff, which is kind of next on my list here, again, just want to thank you for tuning in. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. So if you're watching this on YouTube, the button's somewhere around here. Go click that. Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcasts. Please subscribe and leave a comment. I would love to see how you get through your slow season. If you know another wrap shop owner that is going through a slow season just like everyone else, please share it with them. And then ultimately, go to wrapops.com, leave a comment or request, suggestion, a problem that you're going through. That is what will help us continuously produce content for you. The goal is to be here every week. Hitting some relevant topic each week is something that we are going to keep doing for you. So back to the show here. Some tactical moves is going to be focusing on who you're targeting as part of how you're targeting them. So like I said, offense, general mindset shift here. We need to be outbound. So the three kind of main core groups of people that you're going to be on the offense against here or attacking is going to be your current customers. So that's, hopefully you save your client information, but that's going to be your current customers. It's going to be your target market. I'll explain that again here in a little bit. Or your COIs. So for those of you that have gotten some bigger contracts, they almost always ask for a COI, certificate of insurance. That is not what I'm talking about, but your insurance agent might qualify. So again, I'll explain what a COI is here shortly. But I want to talk about that first target kind of group that we are going to focus on, which is your current customers. So your current customers are probably your lowest hanging fruit. You'll get most likely the best return for the lowest amount of effort here. And definitely the most underutilized source when it comes to lead generation. I know I'm speaking on this, and I would say we could even be at fault of not utilizing that enough. And we are at 80% of our business comes from repeat customers or referral. And I still feel like it's underutilized. So what I mean by that, current customers, when's the last time you talked to them? So any customer that hasn't done business with you in the last, 30 days, 90 days, like you should probably have a touch point. Call them, text them, email them, ask them, an easy way in is just a survey. So just ask them, what did they like best about working with you? What is one thing, if any, that they wish you could have done differently? Or, ask them, you got to drop the ego and ask for some advice on how to be better. And I promise you, especially if it's a business, they will definitely open up and talk to you about that. And then you got to ask for a referral. So That's probably the hardest part of the whole conversation. Second to just picking up the phone and calling them. I don't know why that's so difficult, but I know it is. Is ask for that referral, phrase it how you want to phrase it. It could come off something along the lines of, say, I'm talking to, Mr. Plumber who has multiple vans and good repeat customer. He's super nice, whatever. Just tell Mr. Plumber, hey, Mr. Plumber, you are by far one of our favorite customers. You're very easy to work with. You're very motivated, energetic, and we love working with you. If you have any friends that could use our services, that could benefit from us in the same way that you do, we would love an introduction. Could be as short and sweet as that, and that's all you got to do. And I promise you, it will shock you how many times you call these customers that you calling them made them remember that trailer they bought, that van they bought, maybe a van that they need removed and redone, or something along those lines that they've been meeting to get with you about. They just have been busy and you called them first. So that alone will drum up some business internally. Whenever we start seeing sales and projections go down a little bit, the first thing we do and the lowest hanging fruit that we do is a mass email to our current customer list. I know that's stupidly simple, I should say, but that almost always generates a couple projects just from the simple ping that get in front of our current customers, reminds them of something that they wanted to get done. So the next one you're going to target is you're going to figure out who your target market is. So if you're not familiar with this term, target market is essentially who do you want to do more business with? So look back over your last 30 days, your last 90 days, your last year of projects that you've done. This is going to take a little bit of time, so expect to lock yourself in the office for, an hour or something along those lines, and really hone in and identify who your target market is. So it's probably going to be a little bit different for everybody, because there's definitely 100% a logical answer to this, but every wrap shop owner is different, and there might be a little bit of an emotional play into it as well. But the way I look at it is, a target market is going to be kind like, at first, when you're looking at your customer list, you're going to identify names. So Alan Smith with Alan Smith Electric is you love that customer. He's got a big fleet. He comes back every month or something along those lines. He's spent a lot of money with you. The project itself is maybe an easy one, and for that reason, he's going to be within your target market. And you just kind of go through that list. And this also will help start identifying who is not in your target market. That's for conversation on a different day, because you'll start seeing similarities in projects that you probably don't like, and then you'll start being able to change your marketing efforts to get rid of projects like that. But again, tangent there. We could talk about that a different day. Right now, just identify those customers that most likely make you the most money, you enjoy doing, and you want to do more of. Those are kind of the three questions you want to ask yourself. Get them all up on a list and start trying to, figure out their similarities. So maybe it's the industry they're in, maybe it's the type of vehicle they have, maybe it's their age, something that starts identifying who they are, what makes them unique, and then also kind of puts them in segments and groups so that you can focus your outbound, your offensive strategy here to that target market. So say we like, again, Mr. Plumber, or who'd I say, Aaron Smith Electric or something, that has, skilled trades with vehicles or fleets over 20, something along those lines. And then you can start Google searching and start figuring out how many companies that fit that kind of demographic or that target that are in your local market, and start making a spreadsheet, like start identifying them and outbound. So what that looks like, again, dial them, text them, email them, walk in the front door with some cookies and try to get to a decision maker. But at the end of the day, it's going to require effort. And at this point in time, when you're starting to identify target market, you have to be ready for rejection. So whenever we are kind of teaching or coaching internally here when it comes to the rejection standpoint, typically always ask the question in regards to baseball. So do you know what, a very good major league professional baseball player, his batting average is? It's like 300, which said differently means he only gets on base like 30% of the time, which also means he doesn't get on base 70% of the time. So there's a 70% rejection rate there. And it's still one of the best players in the league. And most likely over a long enough time horizon will end up being a Hall of Famer. So keep that in mind when you're cold, kind of on that offensive, targeting your target market. Lots of a rejection there. You just got to be able to swallow that, keep the optimism, and just move to the next one. So based off of, logic and math there, if you're only going to get a good interaction 20, 30% of the time, that means 70, 80% of the time you're not. So just think of it when you get a no or you get a slam door in your face or someone hangs up on you. Sure, whatever. Like, just got to get through my 80% so that I can, have the 20% of good reaction or interactions there. So very important. Like I said, right now we are fighting slow season. So you're going to have to do what you don't want to do. You're going to have to get rejected. You're going to have to knock on doors, walk into lobbies cold and dial. So the third category here that I want you to focus on is your COIs. Again, not that piece of paper your insurance agent gives you, but probably your insurance agent themselves. COI stands for Centers of Influence. A center of influence pretty much means someone that targets the same target market as you, but doesn't compete with you directly. So, for example, with us, there is a window tinter locally that obviously tints windows, and that's all he does. We don't do any window tint. We are a phenomenal center of influences and pass a lot of referrals back and forth, literally weekly, that someone comes into our shop and we'll mention something about window tint. We got our hands full with what we're doing. It's just not something that we want to do, but we know, the local window, the guy that's local to us that tints windows, been doing it for a long, long time, is phenomenal at it and has so much work that he doesn't do anything else. So we pass referrals back and forth all of the time. That is a center of influence. Another type of center of influence, again, to that Mr. Plumber or, Alex Smith Electric, is going to be who sells to them that doesn't do the wraps. In our case, wraps is that's our pillar. That's what we do. They're a commercial insurance agent. They have, if they bought their building or something, they might have a commercial realtor. They probably have someone maybe that they've hired to do social media. So there's probably, commercial social media companies, that they're managing a fleet, obviously. So there's probably commercial like auto repair shops. So there's going to be multiple types of industries and representatives that you can get yourself in front of that target the same type of customer that you do, that you guys will be able to start kind of getting a referral network, as you will, where you guys are all helping each other out. So again, this will probably take 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. Sit down, figure out who your COIs are, and then start Google searching if you don't have any that come to mind right away. Like maybe you already know, hopefully you have a commercial insurance policy and you know who your insurance agent is. You should probably call him or her and ask them to go to coffee or grab lunch. And you just want to build that connection. It's going to feel like you're going on 50 first dates, but that is what it is. You got to build the network. You got to build those relationships. You really got to figure out how to be liked, known, and trusted, because no one does business with anyone that they don't like, know, or trust. So that COIs, that's really where you're going to start building that and building that network. Again, as I kind of referenced in the beginning, hopefully you are preparing for slow season before you are already in it, because a lot of these relationship building tactics take some time. As you all know, when that customer's, I'm going to buy a trailer or I'm thinking of doing this, that takes time. You got to nurture that. So proactive as possible to solving your slow season is better. Worst case scenario, if you're already right in the middle of slow season, you just got to be 10 times more aggressive. So we got to dial more. We got to walk into more places. Got to probably work a few longer hours to make up some ground for starting preparation for slow season. Just too late. So it is not rocket science, anything that I've told you here. It is just a disciplined approach to slow season. At the end of the day, taking emotion out of slow season, it is logically just lead generation and your close ratio. So today we spoke about lead generation and some of the ways to do that. You can obviously add to that. So we didn't get into any other form of advertising or lead generation other than kind of targeting those three groups through just kind of dialing or whatever. You could send them mailers, send them cards, whatever you want to do, put an ad out in the newspaper. That's probably not the best form, but figure out what works for you, what works for your style. Get uncomfortable. Going on the offensive for most people is very uncomfortable, and you're just going to have to swallow it and figure it out and attack it the absolute best way you can and as just ruthlessly as you can to get through this slow season. Again, massive action is required here. So lastly, before I depart, we do want to hear from you. So if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment in the below. I want to know how you survive your guys' slow season. If you're listening to this on podcast app, again, or YouTube, please subscribe, rate and review. It really does help us out a lot. I was joking with Tanner earlier about starting something new here. So I think our last video got like 4 views. Like, thanks, Mom. And it's been a long time since performance wraps used to be this way. I used to call the front desk phone because it didn't ring for like 4 days in a row. And I was like, shoot, did my bill lapse? Like, did I not pay the phone bill? Why is the phone not ringing? So starting this podcast, again, we're here to help you out, but it's humbling to start something new again. And the only way for this to grow is organically. We're not paying for any ads. So we really do rely on you guys. We're trying to give back as much as we can to help you guys grow your wrap shops just as much as this industry has helped us. And lastly, WrapOps.com. You can leave a comment or, a question, a submission for something, a topic for us to break down and talk about into the future. I'd love to hear from you. Till next time, guys. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.